Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we got Brandon.
Hi.
We're here to talk about games and things.
Yes, games and things. Sorry,
Game.
I had something pop up on my computer. Like, what the fuck is this? All right. It's like update time. I was like, no, it's not. Get that shit out of here.
No, it is update time. You will do it now.
I don't have to, which is so very convenient.
That's what you think.
No, I really don't. I can just tell it now.
Nope, it's waiting. And then one of these seconds, you're going to look away from the screen and then off. Done. Anyways, what's on the agenda today? Animal Well, which I'm actually excited to hear about. I didn't realize it was out until like yesterday.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
More Hades 2. I don't know Crow Country. I don't think.
Yeah, I'll show you Crow Country. Crow Country's fucking awesome. In fact, you know, we'll open with Crow Country because I only played the demo, but Crow Country's demo was enough to let me know that I really want to play this game. I've got a lot more on my plate right now, and I don't think the amount of time versus the price is worth it currently. I do think it will be. I mean, maybe I'll change my mind, but there's a lot of other things that I also am interested in, so I'm kind of waiting. So Crow Country is essentially a PS1 style survival horror game with like the blocky, caricatures, the low poly worlds, that sort of thing, that takes place in an abandoned theme park, but it's done in the style of Silent Hill. You know, the head scratching puzzles, the interesting world that gets built as you're exploring it, the atmosphere of like the horror elements and everything there. It seems really, really good from just the first like 20-30 minutes, which is what I got to play in the demo. But then I found out the whole game's only like 4 hours long, so I was like, okay, well, I've already played 30 minutes of the 4 hours. This is kind of a little too little for me right now, especially since I got like 3 other games releasing in the next few days. So I'm just going to wait on it. But this game seems very, very interesting. And I do think I'll probably end up purchasing it very soon as well. But yeah, it's really cool. Like the way it's designed, the way it has like its sound design is incredible. The gunplay is like where you have to like press a button to ready your aim, similar to like past games, and then you also have to aim with like another stick while you've readied your aim and everything. So I really like it, and it doesn't go like over the shoulder or anything like that. It's like from a fixed perspective, similar to Silent Hill or Resident Evil of the past, and because of that, I do think it's a really cool like little throwback game, and I do think I mean, like, it's being very well received right now. There are people that have been able to like pull off old Resident Evil things where you can like speed run the entire game in like 90 minutes essentially, if you know everything that you need to do. But the world and its atmosphere and the way that the game actually like opens up slowly as you're exploring was just super cool, and something that I think a lot of people would really like if they're into like survival horror games. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Crow Country, super neat. I sent you a little link to it so you can see some if you haven't already seen it.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It looks really nice. What was I gonna say? I can see the Resident Evil comparison.
Oh yeah, Silent Hill too, because it's very Silent Hill-ish with its atmosphere. It's like it just oozes like world building and that sort of thing. It's neat. It's really good. I look forward to playing more of that. I'll probably have already picked it up by next week, so I'll probably have finished it as well.
Speaking of 90s survival horror games, supposedly they're remaking Resident Evil 1 again.
Yeah, the 3rd remake. That's totally what we need.
Because that was strange. It came up in rumors this week, I saw. And that was my thought, too. I was like, yeah, but you already did a really good job remaking this game once. What are your goals doing it again? And how much farther is it going to get from the original doing a remake of a remake? I don't know. Or is it just a remake of the original? I guess that makes a difference, too. Where's the starting point? Is it a remake of the remake, or is it a remake of the original? Don't know. My guess is it's probably the latter, though. I would think. Because you would think, what is it? GameCube? Like, that game's got to be 20 years old on its own, too. At least. Anyways.
Yeah, probably, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Oh, that was my little detour. Back to you.
Yeah, my main takeaway is like we've got a lot of these old PSX style games coming out now.
Yeah.
And like they're all really good. And I do think like these remakes that we're getting of like Resident Evil and stuff like that, they just seem like they miss the vibe somewhat. Like they don't feel the same. Like the GameCube one nailed it basically, right? But these others, I don't know, man. They like I like 4, but 4 is definitely more of an action game than it is a survival horror. Like, but then 4 again itself was already that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2 still has the survival horror elements, and 3 greatly dumbed it down. I do think they're hit and miss, and I do think maybe going the route of remaking 1 in the same style as 4 is not it. I'm really not interested in it, to be completely honest.
No, I feel like that could pretty dramatically change that game. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Still too early. We don't know anything. It's just rumors. But, yeah, we'll find out. Also, why are they going back to remaking a game for the 3rd time and being like, nah, we don't need Code Veronica. That can just
right?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
That's like so much bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering they seem to have some sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
They have a vendetta against Code Veronica. No, we're not going to remake that.
Yeah,
they just want to remake the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd game repeatedly, and 4th, I guess. But they're not going to touch 5 or 6, the games that actually should be touched.
Yeah, no, those are masterpieces.
No, they're not going to touch 5 because people are too stupid. But I'll just leave that alone because.
And 6 is 3 masterpieces in one game. So I mean, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you know? All right, so I'm just gonna say this, right? And I'll make it very quick. Did you know some people were pushing false bullshit that the plot of Resident Evil 5 is about race relations?
That's
what
been
the fuck?
Since that game existed, that's been people have been saying that.
It has nothing to do with like anything like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
As you know,
it just makes no sense. No, like that's Capcom the reason the game can't be remade. What the fuck are you on about? It makes no sense.
Yep, nope. Everyone thinks it's racist, so
why?
I don't know, because it is.
But the Mexican one wasn't, right?
Nope, not that one. Yeah, no, it makes no sense. And I would imagine if they did go through and remake that game, you know, they could probably clean up some of those things that people were a bit more concerned about. But I agree. I don't really think there's any basis for it. It's just people trying to make something out of nothing, really. So that's what I think.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
You did remind me of when you said, "Did you know?" You reminded me of a very random game fact I learned.
Oh, go on. Week. Yeah.
Did you know that the pause sound for this is a Pokemon fact, but it is actually a very random did you know fact that even surprised me. Did you know that the original like Pokemon games, when I say original, I mean like red, blue, green, yellow, like those ones, had a different pause sound for each color of the game?
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, they and it's weird because I will say like it's never something I've like openly acknowledged, but it's something that's crossed my mind before where I've been like, this pause sounds a little different than I remember it, but I never really thought anything of it. And then I saw that as a fact this last week, and I was like, no. I'm like, it makes so much sense. I've always been like, this doesn't sound quite right, but figured I was just mishearing it or something. But no, he made a different pause sound for every version of the game. Original game. You can tell the difference between them.
That's like actually really cool.
Yeah, it's so random, and it's such a cool little fact that I think most people wouldn't know. But it just kind of shows like the attention to detail that they had when they were making those original games. Pretty. I don't know. Anyways, that was my fun fact derail.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Hades 2 now.
Okay, how much you got more time into it now? I'm guessing.
Let's see. I'm 10 hours in.
Okay, it's a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it counts all the hours when offline mode on my Steam Deck, but it probably does. Yeah, 10 hours into Hades 2. This game's really, really, really good. It does do some things to stand out from the original. It has some excellent music. There's an entire boss battle that you fight with these opera singers who also have like a backup drummer and like a guitarist and everything, and you have to fight each individual person. And as you like take out each individual enemy of the three, different parts of the instruments get taken out of the song, which is a really neat touch, and it's really fun to play that boss battle. I finished that. I went on to the next part. I was able to go up to the surface, and I'm now currently where I kind of have to go around to certain places and get certain items to progress in the game. And I don't particularly like the fact that you can hold one tool, which makes it very difficult for you to be able to grind out the items you need in like a single or a few runs. It makes it so you have to go through multiple runs repeatedly to get the items that you need, which I do feel like is a little bit of an oversight that might just be there right now to kind of artificially lengthen the early access gameplay time of the game. Not sure if I'm correct in assuming that, but it does feel very much like something that would be done for that reason, because I see no other reason to not allow you to at least have two tools. And the tools that you can have are like a fishing rod, a spade, and when you get a spade, you have to dig up potted areas so that you can get seeds so you can bring them back and you can plant them. And then when you plant them, you wait for the seeds to grow, and the seeds grow depending on how many rooms you go through. And then once they've grown, you get those, and you can use the ingredients from those seeds to get specific items that you need, and buy specific things that you need, or craft specific potions that you need to continue on in the game. And right now I'm kind of at that point where my gameplay loop is go through the underworld area, get the items that I need, bring them back, make the potion, go to the upper world area, but I only have so much time that I can be in the upper world unless I have that potion. So if I have that potion, I can be there for a longer period of time, so I can get further in, so I can get more items, so that I can come back and I can add that to my repertoire, and I can use that to make new things that I need to be able to continue the game. And I don't particularly like that aspect of the gameplay loop, because it does feel rather forced in a way that doesn't really gel with the rest of the game, in my opinion. But I do still like the actual like combat of the game. I do still like the world building there. So that's what's kind of keeping me going. But I've kind of pulled back from playing it after the 10-hour mark, because the gameplay loop is just kind of not my vibe. I'm just not really liking that element of it so much. I know there was a certain extent of that in the original, but it feels like it's cranked up to 11 in the second Hades, and I don't really like that. So, yeah,
Okay.
took a step back from that. I did start playing another game, and this is the one you wanted to hear about, and that's Animal Well, which is a game published by Big Mode, which is Video Game Donkey's publishing company that he made, and it's also made by Billy something. I want to remember this guy's name. Let me find this out, because I feel Billy Basso. That's it. All right. I feel like a developer is much more important than a publisher, even if that publisher is a YouTuber. So yeah, Team Billy Basso is the developer of Animal Well, and you know what? I think they've done a really good job with this game. But I'm gonna say some controversial things.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, here it comes.
Okay.
I don't think, at least 2 hours into this game, I do not think that if this game wasn't published by Video Game Donkey, it would be getting anywhere near as much attention as it is, which is a shame, because
it's really good.
Here's the thing. It is very good, but everyone's reasoning for it being very good in any kind of review you see is just full of memes. It's just full of Video Game Donkey memes, which is kind of polluting the entire aspect of the game for me, and makes me feel like, okay, well, this is just kind of like a meme game. People are memeing on it, rating it up very highly because it was published by this guy. I've had some trouble with this game while playing it, because I feel personally it is very easy to soft lock yourself in this
Oh,
game. I fucked up, but I fucked up by being too good at the game, which caused me to get locked out of a certain element of the game, and I had to go back by like 20 minutes and start over. So that kind of sucked a
yeah.
lot. Basically, I found an infinite glitch that allows me to continuously traverse things with an item that I got, and I was unaware that it was a glitch. I just thought the game was kind of easy and didn't realize what I was doing was glitching the game out until
Oh,
I came to a room where I needed another item that I had not got yet because I skipped the item using said glitch because I didn't know that what I was doing wasn't part of the game.
oopsies.
Uh, yeah. So basically, what happened was there's a bubble wand that allows you to jump on the bubble and then use that as another like way of jumping up to higher platforms. But if you press two buttons at the same time very quickly, you can just continuously jump from bubble to bubble to bubble to bubble to bubble over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and get yourself up as high as you humanly want, which
Yeah.
I just did and skipped over an entire thing, skipping another item, which made it so that when I went to another room later on, I didn't have the item I needed to continue the puzzle because I skipped over it because I didn't know that what I was doing was incorrect and not the correct solution to the puzzle in question. The world of Animal Well is very interesting. I know there is something bigger here. I know there is something else to this game. I do not know what it is yet, but I know there is something. Animal Well gives me the biggest Fez vibes I've gotten in a very long time. And I don't mean like the developer's a massive dickbag or anything like that. I just mean you could clearly tell while you're playing this that something else is going on, but I don't know what it is yet, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I think when I have that moment, it's going to be fucking amazing, and that will probably be what makes me finally be like, yeah, this game deserves its praise. But I have not gotten to that moment yet, and I do not know what it is yet. And so far, it just feels like any other puzzle platformer, which isn't bad because it's a good puzzle platformer.
Yeah.
But like I said, I did soft lock myself, and I did have that issue. And I've seen other people that have had the same issue in other parts of the game as well. So I do know that that is a very real problem with it. So there's that. But I'm trying to not because I had to look up to see what the fuck I was supposed to do when I soft locked myself, and that's when I found out, oh, I legitimately can't do anything because I have locked myself out of content because I fucked up without realizing it, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
But I did see that other people at the time, yeah, I had the same problem, or I had this problem at such and such, but I didn't read what such and such place was. I just knew it was a place that wasn't where I was at, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna ignore this now. But I don't want to spoil any of the game for myself because I do feel like there's going to be some point in this game where I have that oh shit moment, but I have not got to it yet. I could see the inner workings of a really, really good game, but I haven't actually experienced them yet. So that's kind of how I feel about Animal Well. Like, there's something here, but I don't know what it is yet. So, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, you'll figure it out probably. But how long is the game supposed to be? Do you know?
I think 6 hours.
Oh, so not terribly long.
No, it's not terribly long, but from what all right, so you know how, like, for instance, let's talk like, I'm not gonna go with Doki Doki Literature Club because that's just like, oh, a horror game. No, I'm gonna go with something like, what the fuck was that called? I can't even think of it. The card game one that you played that I told you to play.
You mean the one that I did play, or the one I did
Yeah,
not
the one that
play?
you did play. The one that
Inscription.
you did play. Yeah. You know how Inscription kind of has like a deeper element to it? I actually don't even know if you found it or looked for it or anything.
What do you mean?
Okay, so you don't know that Inscription has a deeper element than the game you actually play. Okay, all right then. I'll
Well,
leave that alone.
I just don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
So the really interesting thing about Inscription is a lot of the game is hidden from you. And I don't know how they would have presented this information via console, because on PC it was done through literally tearing the game apart. So I'll leave that be, because I don't know how they could have done that on console. But I feel like there's more layers to this game, and I don't know what they are yet. If that makes any sense. Like, yeah, I'm looking at a surface level. Like, think of like an iceberg. I'm looking at the top of the iceberg right now while playing these first 2 hours. But some things just kind of off, you know? Something feels like the game I'm playing is not what I'm going to be playing in like 3 more hours. Like, there's something else here, or like there's going to be something deeper here. And the reason for that, and there's been a few little hints and things here and there, there's very clearly a lot of like spirits and ghost like things in this game that aren't really explained, or why they are here, or what they're doing here, or this, that, and the other. And on top of that, whenever you die, the entire world gets inverted to white and black, and it looks like a different world for like a single frame. It looks like something else is there, but it goes by so fast you can't really, it's like a blink and you miss it sort of deal. So I feel like the game that I'm playing right now will be very different in a few hours, or when I dive further into it, essentially. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. I just know that something's here and I don't know what it is. It's one of those games where you get that feel at the beginning and you're like, hold on a second, something ain't quite right. And that is how I feel about Animal Well right now. And I'm kind of hoping I'm right, because I love games like that. Like, I loved Inscription. I loved Pony Island. I loved all those kind of games. I love Doki Doki Literature Club. I love those kind of games where there's something more there. And I'm really hoping that I'm right about that with Animal Well. And I feel like at this point in time, that is the only thing that would give it its overwhelmingly positive reviews that I'm seeing people give it. So, hoping to get further in and find that something.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, hopefully there's something there. Although, who knows if it's... Well, I mean, I guess the length doesn't necessarily mean that anything.
Yeah.
Inscription wasn't terribly long either, but yeah.
That's it. I'm done. I got nothing else to talk about.
Okay.
Game-wise.
Let's see what I got. Well, let's start out with Pokemon. I'm not going to say a lot about it this week because I feel like I said everything I really needed to say about Legends last week. Except I feel like the game is a lot more of a time sucker than I remembered it being. I was just like, oh, I'm almost done last week. And then I'm like, I looked yesterday, I'm like already over 30 hours. Oh, Jesus freaking Christ. But I did just get to the quote-unquote final battle. So not too much left to do anymore. It's just kind of cleaning up stuff. But yeah, there's actually, and I think Paper Mario comes out this week, doesn't it? Well, this week, I mean, like next week. Because I've noticed that not reviews, but like a lot of stuff has been starting to break, like previews and things like that. Like, obviously, they've done some press events. Yeah, so it comes out next week. So that's exciting. That's, I forgot, they switched supposedly Nintendo switched their release dates back again. I don't know if you noticed this. I've heard it. I've not looked too much further into it, but Paper Mario is coming out on a Thursday now, which is new because their games always used to come out on Fridays. So, but yeah, no, that's the same. But yeah, Pokemon Legends, I should be done with that in the next few days and go with that. It's still an excellent game. I have a great time with it, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it because that's all there is to say. We talked about it enough last week, so there's that. Otherwise, I played Endless Ocean, or not Endless Ocean. Sorry, that was a lie. I played Tetris 99. They did an Endless Ocean event this week, which was kind of funny. They did, because they do like the themes for each of the games, and I was like, what kind of theme are you going to do for Endless Ocean in a Tetris game? Well, I can tell you. So the first, like, they usually do, I don't know how much you remember, how long it's been since you played Tetris 99, but usually the way it works is...
a long time.
Yeah, I figured. So the way it works, if you start like a normal 99 game, generally the theme kind of starts out, have one theme that goes for the first 50 players, and then it kind of ramps up after that. You'll get kind of a theme, a slight theme change at around 50 players left, and then another one kind of right near the end. I can't even remember. There might be one more in there, but those are at least the ones I remember. I don't ever, if there is one last one, I don't ever see it that much, so because I don't get down that low that often. But yeah, so Endless Ocean. So this one sort of pretty funny because like the first like 50 players, like the music is very just kind of like very like background noise, kind of almost like very not draws itself attention, like low energy, kind of just like casual, like swim around the water type music. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. It does in my head, but that's how I would describe it. But anyways, then you hit to like 50, and all of a sudden the music basically changed to like the Jurassic Park theme song. And like it's like this like big sweeping grand like orchestral music, although it's crappy orchestral music, which makes it even funnier. Because it's almost like that kind of orchestra music you'd see in like a B tier horror movie. But it tries to be like this big grand thing, like it's doing something impressive, and it feels very strange in this particular circumstance. But yeah, that was endless ocean Tetris. I would never use that theme again, but it's not the worst one I've ever seen. So there was that. What else did I have? Huh?
I said fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Tetris 99 themes because sometimes they do get me like a little hype for something that's coming out, something that I'm excited for. And nope, this was not exciting. Like negative excitement.
Yeah, I saw some people were playing the new game, right? Already? Like the new Endless Ocean game?
It did come out, I think, last week. And they're doing some interesting things in there, actually. I just saw they're doing like their first kind of, I forget what they call it, but like online event. And it gives you like a more scripted area to kind of go around through. So that's kind of cool. And it sounds like they're doing a feature, and I apologize to our listeners if I'm misquoting it, but this is how it looked to me when I glanced at the news. But it sounds like they're doing a feature, and it sounds really cool, actually, where they will let streamers do like a guided tour for
that sounds
other people.
Really cool.
Yeah! I was like, that's a really freaking awesome idea. I'm surprised, especially with as popular as streaming is, I'm surprised that more games aren't doing something like that. Let me see if I can find it, so maybe double check to make sure I'm not crazy. Oh, I know where to look for it. I know where to look for it. Please hold. Don't care. Yeah, so here's what they said. They said kicking off on select content creator channels on May 15th. Come dive with us is an opportunity for you to experience an undersea world filled with exotic sea life, hidden treasures, and sensory soundscape with fellow fans. So, yeah, but it sounds like because they're partnering with like those select content creator channels that they're expecting it to be something more like that. So,
okay,
yeah, it sounds pretty neat. It'd be interesting to see if if it lives up to how my imagination is, but it sounds like a kind of cool feature. So, yeah, and then they said too, members can take place in the first event dive. And it says limited time. You can visit a special dive area with rare creature encounters. Those are the things. But, also, randomly, I've heard that Little Kitty Big City game is pretty good too. That also came out this week. All right, what else was I going to talk about with my detour? So Pokemon Endless Ocean. I didn't end up picking up the Vampire Survivors DLC yet.
I did.
Oh, did you? How is it?
Yeah, it's really good. I guess I totally forgot about this because I blasted through this shit. It was really good. Okay, so
is there not that much, or you just kind of did the bits and pieces you wanted?
I did like 6 hours.
Oh, yeah, so, that's a decent amount.
And even after doing like 6 hours, that was just to unlock several characters. There's still a bonus stage that I do not know how to unlock, and at the time when I played it, no one else did either. So there was no information out there on how to get it. So there is a bonus stage that is literally like the writing on car stage from like the original Contra, where like you go from left to right on a vehicle and everything. There's a bonus stage like that now in Vampire Survivors, and I do not know how to unlock it, but I did play the stage in Vampire Survivors that was based off of Contra, and there's this really cool moment where you could fight a boss at the end of the stage. So
Yeah.
like when you have like a countdown timer that starts going off, and it like wants you to get this building, and if you get to this building, it then puts you in like the overview of like when you're playing Contra, where it's like a gigantic enemy and they're like coming through the wall at you and everything, and you have to like fight them like that in
Oh, that's cool.
Vampire Survivors. It was fucking neat. I really, really liked this DLC. There's I haven't figured out all the combinations yet, but I have got like 7 of the 11 characters. I'm thinking the like bonus stage will probably unlock after I get all the characters, so I don't know. But yeah, it's been really good. That is a great DLC. You should definitely pick it up.
Check it out. So
Did you already have the Among Us one, right?
yes, I've had every other one prior to that, and even I did even play through like the last update with the laboratory. I went through that one. I thought that was a fun stage too. Actually, I like that stage quite a bit. I thought it was one of their better ones. Sometimes some of the stages I'm just like, no, some of the ones where they try to be like really obtuse, like really grand and like so big. I'm not a big fan of some of those. Just because
you're probably not gonna like this because this stage is massive. It is probably one of the biggest they've had yet. So there's a lot of different biomes in the stage, which is what I think helps break it up a lot because it feels like multiple stages due to how big it is.
And I don't mind that as long as it's navigatable. The problem is with a lot of those bigger stages is I feel like they try to do something dumb to kind of like differentiate some of the areas. Like the forest one where there's that just random freaking maze.
Yeah, there's a moment like that, but it's supposed to be like the jungles basically.
Oh, good. No, I'll try it out still. But I'm excited for that, so that should be pretty exciting. And there's supposed to be like a lot of characters and a lot of weapons in this update too, from what I had read. It is a very random update though, or very random. I mean, I thought the Among Us DLC was pretty random, but this one is too. Contra's not like it's gone away, but it's not been like super relevant in a while. Although it is
they did just release a new Contra.
Yeah, but did anybody care about it?
I heard it's really good, but when did it release? Hold on. Contra Operation Galuga? It came out in March 12th, and it's very highly rated. It is a new one. This is a reimagining of the original classic run-and-gun action game from the 80s. It features new stages, new enemies, and new play mechanics. Also, co-op multiplayer up to 4 players. I mean, apparently it's good.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just overpriced from what I'm seeing. Like, they're charging, like, $40, but it's like a $20 game, essentially.
Yeah, that's always kind of a problem.
But it is developed by Way Forward, so that tells you really all you need to know. Way Forward does a really good job. Yeah.
No, that's very good. All right. What else do I have to talk about? Anything? I think those are my big things.
I don't know.
Yeah. Ready to move on to news?
Yes. Because holy shit, do we have a lot of news.
Yeah. Well, I'll wipe out the Nintendo ones first.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Because they're not terribly long. And it seems like we got Nintendo news and we got Sony news, pretty much. Between the two.
Yeah.
So there was a rumor last week that it was on the tip of my brain and I couldn't remember it, and then it actually got officially announced last week, so now it's real news. Nintendo's putting out a new game called Nintendo World Championships.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep. Kind of reminds me of NES Remix. You gotta look at it. It looks like it's just kind of quick little challenge things for a bunch of different NES games. And it has some multiplayer features and stuff too, which look kind of neat.
Oh yeah, this is very much NES Remix.
Yeah, very much so. And it's definitely more of a budget title even too. I want to say something like
it's $30.
Is that the physical or the digital?
Digital. Physical 60.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember. I know that the physical one comes with like actual physical things, so would that make sense? But yeah, been for $30. It seems more like a $30 game, depending on how much content's there, which we really don't know yet. They have only put out like a
I would probably have been like $15 game. I mean, $15 game, not 15 minute. $15 game would have been probably yeah, it could be.
It could be. I don't know. The NES Remix games are really fun. I guess it depends on what they do with it.
I
Yeah.
missed those games. Those games were really good.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like that's kind of I think people have been asking for a while, so I think that's kind of what they're going with at this.
Mhm.
I also feel like it kind of gives them, depending on how this is built, it may actually give them like a platform to do kind of like little tournament stuff too if they want to. Who knows?
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. Nintendo seems to hate that sort of thing.
they do for some things, but this is like one of those games I feel like that they would take to a mall with them
You're probably right.
and be like, "Hey, let's see who can get the highest." Nintendo likes to do those kind of cheesy kind of challenges, kind of like I remember when I was working for GameStop and we were at convention, and they Nintendo did like a 3-point contest with like Wii Sports Resort, like it just kind of like those kind of quick little pick up and play things. So it always kind of seems like something they did, and we used to do stuff like that in the stores too. Like Nintendo would do events like that. But interestingly, I think one thing that's kind of important to point out here is that they felt the need to label this as NES edition, which makes me think that they're planning on at least another edition already. Like you don't label it with a subtitle unless you're already planning on another one. So, and it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with other ones. Super Nintendo is super obvious, but I would really like it if they did it with like 3D games. I feel like that would be a lot of fun because they've not done anything like that yet. So, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what that is. It's come out in July, and I would expect that we'll hear more about it at the Direct next month. So, there's that. So, interesting rumor: Breath of the Wild might be coming for the new Switch. Did you see this?
I did see this.
So, the explanation is like this: Nintendo likes to label their games as one does. So usually they start with like a code name, and if I remember, this one was like Oni King, was what Breath of the Wild's code name was. And so, for perspective, when they did, I think it was Captain Toad. I want to say the code name was Kinopio, nope, something like that. It's similar to the Japanese name for Toad, which is like that. But for like the Switch, it was Kinopio-S. For the 3DS, it was like Kinopio-C. For the Wii U, I want to say it was like Kinopio-U or just Kinopio. I can't remember which one, whatever. But so this Breath of the Wild, it's labeled with a new ending. It's shown up, so it's like Oni King Dash O, which nobody has seen before. So that one's new. There's a lot of rumors that the new Switch code name is like OZ, like either ounces or Oz. Nobody knows, so they think that the whatever Breath of the Wild code name with an O at the end makes sense. Also, too, this isn't the first time we've heard this rumor because there was rumors a while ago that Nintendo was showing off the new system to developers with a better running version of Breath of the Wild. So, also makes sense that they would go through and develop it into a full game. They did something similar in the past, even with previous I can't talk systems, where they've gone through and been like, "Hey, here's an old game, but we kind of updated it and show off what this system can do." I remember them specifically even doing it with like Game Boy Advance. So, uh, so yeah, so that makes sense that something like that could be coming. Would not be surprising. Um, it'll be interesting to see how, if they are going to do something like this, how consumer friendly is this going to be? That's a big question. My guess is probably not.
No.
But
it's going to be a $60 rebuying or $70
I was gonna say,
rebuying
oh,
of Breath of the
I'm
Wild.
like only 60. That's a steal, Brandon.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's going to be a $70 rebuying of Breath of the Wild that just up-reses it and still looks worse than an emulator that could have done it better fucking 6 years ago.
Probably. Yeah, but so we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. TBD. We don't know. But the news did come from a leaker who has an incredibly great track record. So people are fairly more confident than usual on it, I would say. So I don't know if I would double a tip on it again though. Also kind of a strange. Like this is the second port in 3 generations. So I don't know if we need another one already, but okay, I guess. Especially if the console's backwards compatible. I feel like that's kind of a big ask. Like you gotta make a pretty compelling reason for this. Also kind of a sub rumor within that rumor, not from the same person, but speculation that Nintendo, I would say speculation, but it is technically a rumor, but speculation that Nintendo would be adding new content to the game, like they usually do with re-releases. And one of them kind of made it sound like maybe a Zelda campaign. Like when I say Zelda, I mean like the character Zelda, like the female protagonist. But don't know, do not know. I feel like that's way too rumor territory for something like that. So yeah, there is that. What was that? Also, news-wise, I'll just kind of transition to this. Square Enix going multi-platform. I saw that story. It's kind of a, I don't know how to put it, like a nothing story. I feel like, depending on what. No, you don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
Square Enix always says there.
People are trying to pass it off as a nothing story because they're fucking stupid fanboys, but that is not the case. So Square Enix is down 70% in profits from their last fiscal year. That's really fucking bad. Within the time of that fiscal year, we've had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and we've had fucking Final Fantasy 16. Were for both exclusive titles. Everyone wants to point to all the other like games that sold only like 100,000 here or 200,000 there, and blah, 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 but they're much smaller titles. When you look at the amount of money and the budget for the two Final Fantasy games that were specifically exclusive to one console, you start to see what actually the biggest issue is here. It's the industry as a whole, and it's the fact that you can't just be exclusive to one thing now if you're going to have budgets as massive as something like a Final Fantasy title. And because of that, Square Enix is now kind of smartened up and stated that they are aggressively pursuing porting titles that were exclusive to one console, such as Final Fantasy 16, such as Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, to other systems, such as Xbox, as well as PC, and the Switch down the line, if the new console is even able to handle it. So, with that, and the fact that they're wanting to like have parity between all systems now, and not just like we talked about before, why the fuck is PlayStation the only people that are getting the Final Fantasy series when it comes to consoles? It doesn't make any sense for the remakes to only be on there when they're not exclusive. Like, you know, they're not a first-party publisher for Sony. Yeah, probably they shouldn't have done that because it lost them a lot of fucking money. That on top of the fact that they also lost a lot of money by originally working on things that were going to be in the crypto sphere, and then the cryptocurrency bubble fucking popping and just dying a slow, painful death really ruined a lot of things. But it did not help their case that they put their two biggest budget titles on one system. And they have now noticed that, and they are working towards pivoting to releasing multi-platform on all their big name titles in the future aggressively, as stated by Square Enix themselves.
I don't believe it until I see it. This is not the first time they've said this before.
So the reason why I believe it this time around is because if you saw their numbers, these motherfuckers are either doing this or they're going bankrupt. As simple as that. Their numbers are in the shit, or it is not good at all right now for them.
No, I don't think it's going to change anything. I think what they're going to do is they'll probably just ask Sony for more money. Just give us more money, and then they'll probably still release stuff multi-platform in like a year, but they probably will just make sure they're more consistent with it. That's where I think it will end up going. Because I can't see Square walking away from like their timed exclusivity. Like they seem to love it, and even going multi-platform doesn't necessarily. Unless they said, I did not see it. I don't remember. They didn't say they were going to launch multi-platform, did they?
You mean like go day and date?
Yeah.
Let me go read the exact thing they said so I can get you more information. Just give me 1 second. Let's see.
I'm looking at the news too, just to see. Well, this article says that they're also expecting layoffs from Square Enix.
Yep, I do see that now too. They're expecting layoffs for their restructuring of their brand.
Yeah, this article doesn't say specifically, but it does kind of mention that the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales have been below expectations.
Yeah.
But this is also the company that thought that, 3 million sales for Tomb Raider was below expectations too, so who knows?
That's true. That's very true. But you have to look at the fucking amount they put into Final Fantasy.
Oh, that number's budget-wise, disgusting.
It's insane, you know. So like, I would believe it if it was like Final Fantasy didn't meet our expectations. Yeah, no fucking duh. You guys probably didn't even make your money back on it, you know?
Yeah. It's really what Square needs to do is just they need to keep their teams in check. Be like, stop fucking ballooning this game. Like, make a realistic budget and stick to it. Like, stop making these things like why did you take this remake and turn it into like 10 million games?
It's just 3, but I feel like the second game was literally filler. So
Well, and that's the thing. Like, this is like the least interesting part of that story too. So I don't know. It seems like there was a lot, maybe some more questionable decisions on those things. Anyways, I would think, but I don't know. Like I said, we'll see what Square. Like I said, I feel like they've been saying that for years and years. So we'll see what they end up doing. Put their money where their mouth is. They should. They should go multi-platform. I think they would benefit more from it. But especially considering how difficult the consoles have been to purchase, and that a lot of things don't necessarily come out on everything still. But yeah. Anyways, I don't know. That's my Square Enix 2 cents. See if they actually do it.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I hope that explained why I don't think it was such a nothing burger, because it's a little bit bigger than what you just were like, it's whatever. But okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about 2 other things, right?
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll both of these up together because I have written here, Sony is dumb as shit.
Uh-huh.
And then the other thing, which is we may potentially be seeing a remake of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, good.
Why? Did they run out of Last of Us games to remake? I feel like they did. So they're like, let's go to one of our other bigger properties and remake it. Spoiler alert, Horizon Zero Dawn hasn't even been out for like 5 years.
I was been calling it one of their other bigger properties is, well, I mean, it's not necessarily a lie considering what the games that they've been putting out lately, but
when was it? 2018, 2019? Let's see what it was. It came out, 2017, which doesn't feel like it came out in 2017, which is really weird. But 2017 and then remaking it in 2024, that just feels kind of garbage. Like, I mean, there's already a 60 FPS patch for the game and all that other shit, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, here's the thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Which I just wrote Sony is dumb as shit here as a side. So last week we talked about Helldivers 2 and the issues that Sony did and everything and whatnot, and how all that crap spiraled out of control, and then they reversed the decision because everyone harassed them basically into doing so. All right, they lied. The entire thing was a lie.
No, I do not believe it.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised? The entire thing was a lie. They didn't reverse the decision. In fact, they added 3 more countries to the list that can't play or purchase the game. Period.
Wait, so did they reverse this decision completely?
Nope. It was all a lie. They never did anything. They just wrote a nice little tweet saying, we hear you, we understand, we are sorry, we will not be going forward. And then they said, fuck you, we're going forward. So they literally lied. They
did actually lie.
Quite literally lied. Yeah, they did actually lie. So, and it gets worse. So, tomorrow, Ghost of Tsushima releases on PC. As you may know, Ghost of Tsushima is a single-player game.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a tacked-on multiplayer mode. It's all right. It's got a little online co-op, a little side story. It's okay. It's fine. Would you believe me if I told you those same 180 countries that had already pre-ordered Ghost of Tsushima for 3 months now were all given refunds because Sony said, I'm not going to let you play Ghost of Tsushima either, a mostly single-player title, because you can't make a PSN account. I'm not going to let you play Ghost of Tsushima. So they literally banned 180 countries from playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Which is wild, because when we were talking about this last week, we were like...
A game that hasn't released yet, but been on pre-order for 3 months, because those countries wouldn't be able to play the online multiplayer. So they can't really sell a game to someone that is only half of a game, as they say, which is not even half. The online multiplayer doesn't have anything to do with the single player and is a very, very small portion of the entire game. But it gets better.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
So ready.
Okay. It was announced today that Sony has worked with Steam to allow Steam Deck support. But no Steam Deck players are going to be able to play the online multiplayer. And they hope that people understand that since it's Linux and they can't use PSN, that they'll only be able to play the single player. The same fucking thing they banned 108 countries for not being able to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that seems kind of strange.
So, what did we learn today? Sony are hypocrites and they're liars. But I don't think we learned that today. I think we learned that many, many years ago. But they're just proving it once again. So, there is now a very big push for the 180 countries that had to be completely refunded the game they had already purchased because Sony blocked it and banned it in their country 3 months after pre-order because they can't make a PSN account for a tacked on multiplayer and for trophy support. And those countries are now banding together to push as much piracy as humanly possible on this title just to show Sony, go fuck yourself. And honestly, good. If you purchase something and you had to have it refunded by Steam because the publisher won't let you have it because you can't make a account in their fucking service, fuck them. Steal their shit.
Well, at least they decided to make it so people couldn't play it before they actually owned it. So that's nice.
Well, I mean, they already owned it through pre-order. When you buy something via pre-order on Steam, you give all of your money for the game and then wait for it to come out.
It's totally upfront.
Yeah, totally upfront. Not like wait until it comes out. So Steam actually stepped in and refunded everyone from those 180 countries for their pre-order and even sent them a nice little message saying, we're sorry, but the publisher will not allow you to play this game. We understand your frustrations, and as such, we have refunded you the full amount of your pre-order purchase. Because that was done literally fucking 5 days ago. When it hasn't been done for the last 3 months. It was just Sony being petty that people had already called them out for Helldivers 2 bullshit, so they decided to do more bullshit.
I told you last week when I asked you about that wording, I was
lied.
So what does that mean?
They lied. It's simple as that. They lied, and straight up, not only did they not reverse the 180 countries that can't play Helldivers 2, they also made it so upcoming games for those same countries are not playable, even if you had already purchased them.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's insane. It's just fucking insane.
Honestly, you know what I would have done if I was Steam? I would have refunded everyone, not just the people in those countries.
It should have been everyone got refunded. It really should have been everyone.
Been like, hey, the scope of this game changed. I don't know if you're aware. It might affect your purchasing, decision making. So
I think that would have been the better option. I 100% stand by this. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you so hard. It is very clear what they're attempting to do here. They are trying to get a foothold into the PC market and have it so that you have to go through them. And then once they've got that going on long enough for that free account, bam, got to pay for PS Plus. 100%. They're trying to do the exact same thing Microsoft tried, and Microsoft failed trying to do that and were chased out of the PC market for 7 years, and then were never really accepted back into it. And look where fucking Microsoft's at right now. They're in a fucking ditch somewhere, and that's exactly where Sony will be if they keep this shit up.
I think Sony somewhere, some executive last week when they saw how good Helldivers is doing, and then realizing that they're missing out on that PSN money on PC, they're like, oh, we fucked up. And now they're trying to fix it, and they're just making it so much worse. Like, they should have just been like, oops, we messed up. Let's fix it going forward so everything's consistent. And now it's just
their way of fixing it wasn't, we allow you to play the game without PSN. Their way of fixing it was, we ban you from playing the game because you can't have PSN. But then, lo and behold, fucking Steam Deck, totally fine. Play the game. It's such hypocrisy and so much bullshit. And honestly, fuck Sony. Fuck them so hard for being so stupid.
If you're going to play it at home and you didn't have internet, it's not like the game's like, nah, sorry. Like, it's still going to let you play even if you don't have multiplayer or access to multiplayer or PS Plus. Just as kind of, it's like we figured that that's would be what would happen with the PC. It would be like, yeah, you don't have trophy support or access to multiplayer, but single player is still intact, which is the way it really should be handled if you're going to do it. Don't know why they decided to take this extreme stance on it. It makes no sense.
I feel like Sony is failing a lot more than they want people to know, and they're trying to do everything they can to mitigate their failure. And the best thing that they think they can do is to pump those monthly active user numbers for PS Plus. So they're doing anything they can to do that right now.
Yeah. And I said,
that's the only thing that can make this make sense. Like, that's the only thing. Because why would you throw away so much money from so many people because they can't make a PSN account? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And like I said, my money as some executive in some boardroom like a week or so ago was like, how can we have the highest played game right now and we're not making extra money off of this? Like, they had to be like the conversation. They're like, lock that shit down. Get people on PSN. What are we doing? And yeah, no, this seems like this is them trying to make money off of something they didn't expect to make that much money off of. That's where I think that comes from. But dumb. Agreed, 100%. Yep.
So yeah, that's why the literal topic was just named Sony was dumb as shit, because Sony was dumb as shit. And I do think that in the future, this is going to make Sony lose so much goodwill with PC, and then they're going to be like, no one wanted our games on PC, and they're going to use that as an excuse because they're as stupid as EA, who was like, no one wants single player games anymore, because they were releasing dog shit single player games, and then they were like, why is nobody buying our single player games? And Sony's going to be like, why is nobody buying our games when we outlawed it in 180 countries? I don't understand, because they're fucking brain dead idiots.
And they're like, why are games all getting downvoted? I don't know why.
I don't understand. What is going on?
Yeah, that seems like there's just a lot of poor decision making. Just like with their VR and just like with that fake PlayStation Portable thing.
Yeah. Apparently that thing's sold quite well. The PlayStation Remote Play thing that already is a thing you can do with your cell phone, so I don't really understand why people were buying it in the first place, but Sony fanboy's gonna Sony fanboy, I guess, and buy every little fucking thing they possibly can.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely, I'm sure some people who get like a good use out of it, but definitely not made for a larger audience. So
yeah, definitely.
Very, very niche type, like a product.
Great use out of Remote Play that can't be played through, that has to have a PS5 already and has to have a PS5 turned on somewhere else in the world, and then also has to be connected to the internet, as well as that PS5 connected to the internet, and both have to have a stable connection. And you get the point. I don't think there is actually a good use for it, to be honest.
No, probably really not. Except for that, like one person who's just like, it's perfect for me, and everyone else, no.
Yeah.
What else? Do we have anything else to talk about this week?
No, we don't. I think that about covers it for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think so for myself as well. I don't think there's anything else. There wasn't any other. Let me check the rumors fast. I feel like there maybe was one more rumor.
I mean, there's plenty of other rumors. A new Sly Cooper coming to PlayStation 5.
Nope, that was
PlayStation Showcase.
New Sly Cooper's already shot down.
Yeah, I figured as much, but you were saying rumor, so I was like, well, these are the ones I've heard specifically. But there's a lot of shit going around. I mean, there's the whole.
There was announced tomorrow.
Well, we already talked about that off podcast for specific reasons. But yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Oh boy. Then we also had Microsoft, which hasn't fucking shown off Hellblade 2 at all, but it comes out next week.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, there has literally been 0 review codes sent out, 0 interviews or anything with the developer or talks about the game, 0 marketing, all of it. The most they did for marketing was literally post up a picture that's an old screenshot that's been used a million times before and say Hellblade releasing, and then that's it. and they just did that on Twitter, and that is the only thing they've done. No new trailers, no new anything. They've like completely ignored marketing Hellblade 2, which makes me question, like, are they setting it up for failure or something at this point because they don't want to pay more developers or whatever, because Microsoft is scummy, just like Sony is scummy, just like Nintendo is scummy, just like every single gaming corporation right now is just a massive piece of shit. I mean, EA decided that it was like, hey, you know, it would be really good 30-second ads in our video games that are $70.
Oh, I forgot about that news.
Hey, you know, it'd be really cool if you used mods that are in any form sexual in our games, such as like, you know, like mods for, like, I don't know, like Mass Effect or something, or The Sims or whatever, like those kind of mods. We can ban you because you use mods that are sexually explicit. It's like, okay, I guess you can get banned for using mods in a single player game now? Sure, why not? Fucking great job, EA. Like, everyone right now in the industry is just being a big old pile of shit, and fuck them, this industry needs to burn.
That definitely needs some cleaning up. There's some issues.
No, it needs to be burned alive and then rebuilt. Let the indies take over for like 2 years while everyone restructures all their dumb shit. They get the budgets back in place for what should be, instead of overinflating every single motherfucking budget on every single fucking AAA game, and then they can come back to the industry. And until then, shut the fuck up and leave.
Arcane Boss calls out Xbox, says studio closure was a fucking gut stab.
Yep.
Seems relevant.
Yep. That's very relevant. Dude, that Arcane being gutted is like the equivalent of straight up finding a diamond and then just throwing it in the trash, because it's got some shit covered on it that you dropped it in.
Yeah, no, don't want our own mess. Someone else can deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, and you remember how you told me the guy from the Hi-Fi Rush people, when they like the reason why they dropped the Hi-Fi Rush developers was because the like main creator left and took half the staff with him?
No, I didn't tell you that, but
okay. Well, anyway, someone told me that. It doesn't matter. It was fake. It wasn't true. Someone was arguing with someone that was like saying, no, that's not true. And they're like, what do you fucking know? And they're like, I worked there less than 3 hours ago.
Oh.
Like that's what I know. I literally am one of the people that just got fired. Fuck you. This is fake information that someone's trying to pass around.
Yeah, I mean, Shinji Mikami did leave, but as far as I saw,
he didn't take half the staff, which is what people were claiming he did. And the reason Microsoft dropped him, people ran to defend Microsoft for getting rid of this studio. And when people were like defending them, like, oh, Shinji Mikami took half the studio with him, you know, he just left them with a skeleton crew and everything. There was nothing they could do, so they got rid of the studio. And someone just popped in the topic and was like, that is not true in the least bit. And this person's like, the fuck you mean that's not true in the least bit? Everyone knows it's true. The fuck you trying to do? Spread this false information? What, you just want to defend Microsoft? They're like, what the fuck kind of credentials do you have? And the guy's just like, my credentials are, I got fired from there, like, it was like 8 hours ago or something. He's like, I got fired from that company 8 hours ago. I literally worked for them. You're full of shit. Stop spreading false information.
Yeah, I think even too, I mean, Shinji Mikami's great, but I don't think he's so essential to that studio that it was falling apart without him. Like, they seem like they're pretty solid.
Hi-Fi Rush. It's literally Microsoft's darling game that has been like the best thing they've done in like, I don't know, 8 years. And they were just like, get rid of them. And then the next day they were like, yeah, we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. Like, you know.
Yeah. Oopsies.
Fucking idiots. Oopsies. I made an oopsies. Fucking idiots. Microsoft's stupid. Sony's stupid. Nintendo's stupid. They're all fucking stupid.
Anyways, ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. You can reach out to us at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. If you want to go to our website, game-crunch.com as well, all of our old episodes are there, so you can get anything you want. Brandon.
Play indie games. That's what I have to say for the ending. Play indie games. Don't give these AAA's money. Just play indie games. There's plenty of games coming out that are indie that are 100% worth your more funds than fucking any $70 title that's being released lately.
You are
Like-
right. I'm very excited for the Indiana Jones game.
Listen, me too, but only because I know someone that worked on it. So I'm really hoping it's not shit because they haven't let me down before. But who knows?
Never know with indie games. They're all over the place sometimes.
Fuck off, man. Play independent games because Mike over here wants to be a fucking douchebag and fucking.
Please hold while I think of a game with independent in the title. So.
But no, seriously, play Backpack Hero, play Crow Country, because like Crow Country's on everything. Like I mentioned that game earlier, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I did almost buy Slay the Spire this weekend.
Slay the Spire is an awesome game. Play it.
I know. I remember you talking about how good it is.
Play Ball Throw.
You know the thing is about Slay the Spire, which I realized.
What?
I don't know if it was this week, but
play
recently. I know nothing about Slay the Spire except it seems like a game I probably would like. I literally know nothing about it. Like zero.
Play Hades. Play Hades 2.
Mm-hmm.
Play Buckshot Roulette.
Yeah, tons of options.
You have so many options. Like you can even play games that aren't AAA that are from other studios that also aren't independent. Like, yeah, you have tons of options. I mean, fucking Elden Ring is an incredible game. The DLC comes out next month. Just go play that. Like, name one bad business practice that FromSoft has done. You can't. You fucking can't.
No, you didn't give me enough time to even really think about it. I'm sure you take any company, I'm sure you could find something like nefarious from them.
Well, when you figure one out, let me know.
All right. No, I will. Might not be this week.
Play V Rising. It just got an expansion that adds Castlevania. That's where the Castlevania went instead of into fucking Vampire Survivors. Play Vampire Survivors. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's also
play
a good one.
Brotato. Brotato's awesome. Play Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Oh yeah, there's other. When's that new Crypt of the Necrodancer game coming out?
Rift of the Necrodancer?
Yeah.
We don't have a release for it, but play that when it comes out. It's on my wish list. I really want that fucking game. It looks awesome.
Oh, I did see Kill It With Fire was super cheap too.
Play Kill It With Fire. That game's awesome. I love that game. I went on about how much I love that game like a few weeks back. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like $3 right now.
It's totally worth it. Totally fucking worth it.
Yeah.
Kill It With Fire 2 just released also.
Oh yeah, it did. We were just talking about it.
I have so many lists of games that are independent that are totally worth your money over anything releasing that's AAA.
Yeah, there's lots of good indie stuff.
There's even AA games. Like I said, play RoboCop Rogue City. That game's fucking excellent. Play Pacific Drive. Play Power World.
Yeah, all games, and I think most of those you even talked about this year.
Yeah, a lot of them are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Play El Paso Elsewhere. I talked about that last year for last year's Game of the Year.
Yeah,
I'm literally just going down a list of all the games I've been playing lately. Like Arcade Paradise is really good if you like management games. There's so many games, and you even mentioned this one. Play Little Kitty Big City. That game just came out. It's indie. Play that.
It's supposed to be really good too.
Yeah, play Another Crab's Treasure. It's also really fucking good. It's an indie Souls-like that takes place under the sea, and you play as a crab who had his home repossessed. His home being his shell. It's really fucking funny, and it's really good. Play Another Crab's Treasure.
Oh, there's that Dave Diver game.
That's not technically indie because it's actually a shadow company pretending to be an independent company and raking in more funds. But that is beyond the
that's beyond the scope of this discussion.
That's beyond the scope of this discussion, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, you can play Dave the Diver because Dave the Diver is great. Play Dredge. Dredge is awesome. You're fucking fishing in a post-apocalyptic fucking a Lovecraftian world. It's super neat. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's new stuff. Oh, what was
Stardew
that
Valley unpacking? Like, there's so many things here.
What was that Aliens one you talked about earlier this year?
Which one?
One with the did they come to kill you?
The aliens came to kill you, maybe? The fuck?
Sometimes they do. It's a roguelite, so they don't always do it. I remember you talking about it's something about like I think you're listening for like the radio sounds from the aliens.
Lethal Company. Play Lethal Company. Lethal Company is great. Play the
Mhm.
new one that just came out, which is based off of Lethal Company, but might even be better. It's called Content
That's
Warning.
not the game I'm thinking about, but that is a good example because I know you play that game a lot too. What? Voice of the
Beyond
Void?
Voices of the Void. Yeah. Play that. That game's
Hmm.
free. That game's free on
Yeah.
itch.io. That game's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
Play Cult of the
Just letting you know.
Lamb.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like there's
Tons of.
so many games out there. Like and some of these, many of these, you get on like PS Plus and stuff and you probably don't even realize you fucking have them. So
No, most
like
people
play
don't.
Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner 2 was just added to PS Plus. Go play Ghost Runner 2. Go play Ghost Runner 1. Play Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner's fucking excellent. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. You don't have to give the big three your money. You really don't. You really don't, and you probably really shouldn't.
Yeah, take a look. There's always stuff on sale too.
Always, always. And if you're a PC gamer, there's literally things on sale every single day. If you use Steam, there's a really cool browser extension that's called Augmented Steam. Augmented Steam makes it so whenever you're on Steam, it'll tell you other websites that have the game for cheaper. If
Oh,
you
that's
want
pretty
the
nice.
game cheaper, then get something like that. It's like super fucking cool. Very, very good tool to have. There's other tools like that that you can get for other like companies, games and whatnot as well. Like look around. Like just do some research. You don't have to play the newest thing released by Nintendo, Microsoft, or PlayStation. Which for PlayStation doesn't really matter because they're not really releasing much this year.
Well,
And for
neither is
Microsoft, it doesn't
Microsoft.
really matter because they're not really releasing anything ever. And, and for Nintendo, well, we're only pretty much getting remakes until they release their new system. So.
No, we got another new game now. We got Nintendo World Championships NES Edition.
Oh, I'm
Brandon.
sorry. The title that is a combination of like 20 games from the 19 fucking 90s. Yeah, definitely not a remake.
Not a remake. Period. It is a
A
competition.
compilation. Yeah, there you go. That's the one
A
you're looking for.
competition compilation.
That's actually a
Compilation,
pretty good. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, that's a good tongue twister.
Yeah, compilation, competition, compilation, competition, compilation, competition. Now, yeah, it would be kind of difficult to do that, honestly.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
No, I just went off on a massive tangent when I was supposed to be saying bye, but I felt like I needed to say that because people just don't seem to get it. That like there's so many other things you could play that don't have to be AAA.
Yeah. Actually, a really good app. I'm sure there's probably other ones, but this is just what I've been seeing a lot lately, and it seems to work really well. This Deku Deals.
I don't know about that one. How's it spelled?
DEKU.
Okay, like Deku.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's pretty nice because it actually
this
put
is
it in
kind of
games.
like Is There Any Deals? There's a website called isthereanydeals.com, and that site also gives you like information on like it gives you like up to. I'm not sure if this one does it, so I'm gonna like click one of them and see. Yeah, this one kind of does it. Like it shows you current prices, but like isthereanydeals.com will also show you like the lowest price the game has ever been and how long ago that was. Okay. So like you can make a decision based off that and be like, oh, okay, this is down in price, but it's not down as low as it was like 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to be a smart consumer and I'm going to wait until it actually does go back down to being that low.
So here's for context. So Kill It With Fire. I have my wish list pulled up right now. So at the top of the wish list, when I pull it up, it pulls up anything that's on sale immediately.
I like that you have Kill It With Fire on your wish list. I think you should play it.
So Kill It With Fire is on the top of my wish list right now because it's on sale, and so it's got its normal price $14.99, and then underneath that it has its
$3.74 right now.
Yep. So right underneath that it has its sale price, which is $3.74, and then underneath that
I see the pricing history now. Yeah, I see that.
Yep. It has how much percent off it is, and then it also is letting me know that it matches its previous low. Below that, I have one of those Sherlock Holmes games that we talked about a few months ago. And this one is marked as its lowest price ever. So you can be like, oh, I know that it is the lowest thing. And then when you open it up, it shows you its pricing history. So you can kind of get an idea. It's like, okay, how often is this going to go on sale? I can
Mhm.
look at this and I'm like, oh, it goes on sale pretty much once a month down to this
Yeah.
lowest price ever. So if I don't get it right now, it's not a huge rush to it. And then it shows me it's $374 on the eShop, but then it shows me the prices at other restaurants, so other storefronts that you can buy it at, and it's like, oh,
Yo, Paradise Killer's also on sale. That game's awesome. That's a cool game too. It's on sale for $5.99 right now.
oh nice. Oh, this even has
Normally, yeah,
this app also has its Metacritic score on there. Pretty nice.
yeah.
Has how long to beat on there, which is nice, and then just some other extra things like platforms and things like that.
What languages it supports, what platforms it's
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Oh, it even tells you the download size. That is very convenient.
Yeah, super nice. And actually, one other thing I really like that it does too, and it's such a little thing, but it is very nice.
Hmm.
Is that so? Like storefronts generally update on certain days. A lot of times, or sales will be coordinated.
Hmm.
So if like I have a bunch of Final Fantasy games in there, for example. So let's say Square decides to put them on sale, which they do every few months. It doesn't give me a notification for each individual Final Fantasy game. It will be like, it will
It
give
groups them
you,
all together, and then it's like this is the notification you get, so you know.
yeah, it will be like, hey, it will be like, 5 titles are on sale right now. It will list like maybe like the top 3 on your list or whatever. And then it'll just be like click for more info. So you
I'd
get
like
a notification to know, but
I'd like to
not
point
enough
out
to
right now, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is on sale. Honestly, it's $25.99. I would buy it because it's being delisted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're delisting the original Shin Megami Tensei 5, which makes me think like that one might go up in price quite a bit after the delisting of the game.
Well, it's because they got that Vengeance one or whatever coming out.
They do, but and that's also been pointed out. Like, damn, I'm just kind of adding more to this, aren't I? My bad. But no, that's also been pointed out in the past. The new version of Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming out, and they are delisting it because of that. But they never did it for like any of the Persona games. Like you can still buy like Persona 5, the original Persona 5 on PS4,
dumb.
no issue.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
it's like, why are they doing it for this game? That's what I'm curious about, honestly.
Didn't Persona 5 have like a way to upgrade though? Or no? I can't remember.
No, it did not.
Then super
I
dumb.
paid
I don't
full
know.
price for it twice. I remember.
I remember you buying it twice. I guess maybe I already knew the answer then. Because I remember when I played the game, I was like, I love Persona 5, but I feel like I would be pissed if I bought this and then this whole extra content came out and I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. And they've done that multiple times. So I'm like, no, I'm just, yeah. Well, now we know. But we'll probably still do it anyways. So.
I mean, I'll probably buy the new Shin Megami Tensei, and that's pretty much a fucking no-brainer. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, I guess with that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online, Clash of Penguin on favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Nope, now I'm going to have to edit that outro because I jinxed myself last week because I've been like, I have not said Twitter in so long. And then it just rolled right out of my mouth. So
It don't matter.
Yeah, not a big deal.
People, I mean, if you type in twitter.com, it still goes to Twitter.
No, I just think my thing is just more. I could care less about supporting that site anymore. So I just don't want people to go there if they have alternative
It's such a
better
fucking
places.
cesspool. That's where the God, there's so much shit going on right now there.
Well, that's what I was saying, like with that news thing last week, where Nintendo's like, "Hey, yeah, we're not, starting in July or whatever,
Hmm.
you won't be able to post screenshots to X directly from the console anymore." And I'm like, no surprise, Elon's driven that thing in the fucking ground.
Dude, if you write like something like for instance, I replied to someone as like, yeah, no, they banned 180 countries. I then got like 40 messages immediately on my post that was like, you should contact so and so on Instagram. They helped me get unbanned, and it's just like 40 different bot accounts that are
Oh
trying to
yeah,
scam people at once. It's like, bro, what the fuck is this shit?
yeah, dumb, dumb, dumb.